everybody. Welcome back to our new episode of Go Global Podcast Season 3. And I am Swahab and I am the host for today. It is my pleasure to be here and to meet with different experts in academia within Go Global School and within Siem Reap Province as a whole. And these sessions help deepen our knowledge in different sectors of education, from early years to high school, both in foreign language program and in Khmer program. Previously, we have met with our kindergarten teacher, where she enlightened us on how kindergarten positively affect child's growth physically and mentally and ready them for next education level. Today, we will meet with teacher Lee over here, who is our preschool teacher from foreign language program. She has many years of experiences in education and also a mother of 3. So please welcome teacher Lee, everyone.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Lee. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa, and I've been in Cambodia for 6 years now and have taught various levels of education.
Oh, thank you so much, teacher. So you are currently teaching preschool, which mostly are kids from 3 to 4 years old. So how do you structure your classes differently from compared to higher level students?
Well, you've got to have a very much hands-on activity. It's got to be very creative and very fun-based, and also got to offer emotional support to the young students. Whereas high schoolers, it's more academic-based and more structured compared to the preschool student.
So also, it sounds like these are their first level, right? So for most of them, this is the first time they actually staying with somebody different from their parents. So what are the strategies that you actually use to help support their emotional well-being?
Well, first, it's always nurture and nature. You've got, there are so many different personalities that you've got to get to know, and it's not always about you, it's always about the student. And you get to know them very, very quickly if you understand where their insecurities are coming from. If you understand, each child is obviously very, very different, so you've got to categorize them and put them into the various, and creating a safe environment, which is very much emotionally based environment, because you can't come in there and say, okay, sit down, we're going to learn the ABC or 1, 2, 3s. But you've got to develop a rapport, a good rapport with each student, so that they can start trusting you. Trust doesn't just come automatically, immediately. They've got to start coming to you and relying on you for certain things that they need in the class. You've also got to try and separate their home life to a school life and create a routine where you try and imagine, okay, well, this is the child, and you try and imagine this is the kind of environment they come from, and you've got to try and emulate that environment within the school, so that the child doesn't feel the transition is too traumatizing for them.
Wow.
And you've got to offer very much a diversion within the classroom by fun activities, art projects, storytelling. You've got to keep them engaged and enlightened all the time. You've got to make them laugh. And trust is the main issue.
Wow. So it sounds like you actually know every bit of each of your students when it comes to teaching preschool. So that would mean, for them, everything is first time. So now we know that how they interact and how you interact with them as a teacher in the class. So for them, how their first time interaction and how they make friends in the class, like with their friends, and how do you as a preschool teacher would play a role in their friendship interaction in the classroom?
Foster, you put them all together, and then you've learned very, very quickly. As a mother and as an experienced teacher, you learn nature, the nature of the child very quickly, and okay, this one is timid, that one is forthright, and he's confident. So you don't put the shy and the timid one with the confident one. You put the shy, and then eventually you reintroduce them. You put them in groups, and then you reintroduce them to each one, and then you learn. You make sure that they learn. But you build their confidence up. It goes back to the trust aspect again. If they trust you, then they're going to trust that you are taking them from that group and putting them into another group, and that as an experienced teacher, they are not fitting in with that group. You take them out of that group and you put them in the next group. So they know that when you say move to the next group, they are trusting whatever you say is going to be for their betterment and for their self-confidence and their development.
Wow, so trust play a really important role.
Trust is a huge, if a child doesn't trust you, then you're going to get absolutely nothing from the child.
So that means you as a teacher play a very important role as a center figure for all of them. So in that regard, so I would like to know as well, because obviously you have TAs in the classroom, the teaching assistant. So how do you and your TA together create a routine for your preschoolers in the classroom?
Well, that's a very good question, because I have 2 TAs in the class. They're absolutely brilliant, and they've worked with the students before I was on this became a teacher, and I learned a lot from them just by observing them. And then we had a little meeting together. We realized that we have to work as a team together. We've got to become one. So that the students know that because students can be very emotionally blackmailing and manipulative. Children can be. If they see that there's a division between, even in home-based, if they see there's a division between the parents, they're going to know which parent they can manipulate. So if the TAs and the teacher are not all in agreement with certain rules, strategies, and the way we teach, then the student is going to realize that. So we've got to become one solid unit. So if I say no, everybody says no as well. If the TA says no, then I follow the TA. So it's not a matter of who's the leader and who's the TA. We are one unit together, which fosters a better environment for the child, and realizing that they cannot outsmart any one of us, because we are a strong unit. By us being a strong unit, it's fostering a strong unit within the classroom for the teacher, for the students.
Wow, that sounds a lot of work.
It's a psychological warfare sometimes in the class.
But it's also
it's a lot of fun
to me. Yeah, it's kind of fun, and also every time you have the little children listening to you and follow you, it sounds rewarding as well. But besides all of that, what are the things in the classroom that basically, what are you introducing to your preschool little children and your class right now?
Well, it's a very difficult transition especially for them, because you don't know what they've been taught at home. You don't know if they can hold a pencil, or whether they know colors or numbers or the alphabet. So you've got to stand up there confidently, because although you may fear for your life with all these little people in front of you, because you know how they can be. If you don't foster a confident outlook to them, they're not going to mirror that confidence back to you. So it's very much a mirror, so if a child is screaming and shouting in the class, you scream and shout back.
Yeah.
And then they can see what they're doing. And then they realize, oh, that's not good. So it's very much a mirror. It's like I said just now, it's a psychological warfare sometimes, but they learn very, very quickly. Children pick up the slightest hesitation with regards to a teacher or a TA. You also don't want them to lose what they've learned at home. You don't want to lose their culture. So we introduced, which is fun for the little children, I introduced meditation.
Oh.
And we chant. We all chant together. And then I turn the chanting into something very funny, which they think is absolutely hilarious. And, they come out of their meditation, they all go, one in the house, and it's wonderful. So it breaks the ice between their culture and a foreign culture as well. So I try and marry the culture of, Khmer and a foreign culture, and I put them together, and we have such fun with that. And of course, also I try and introduce critical thinking. I will introduce something to them and say, well, if this happened and this didn't happen, what would be the answer? But in a very childlike manner. If I say, well, if you don't go to the toilet, what are you going to do? So then they must think about, well, if I don't go to the toilet, I'm going to pee in my pants.
Yeah.
So I introduce, so to make them start thinking for themselves, and I try and get them to have, each one of them to have a responsibility. Like at the moment, their responsibility is their chair.
Oh.
That is a huge responsibility. They feel so important because that is their chair. Nobody must touch their chair. I mean, I've had children crying because somebody else has touched their chair. That is my responsibility. That is my chair. And they know, and I've introduced, everybody has their place at a specific table. And if I try and move one of the students to another table, then they have a tantrum.
Oh.
Because now that is their chair, that is their place, and nobody must interfere with that. So that in itself is introducing responsibility. So when we've finished our writing or our storytelling, everybody has got to take their chair and put it back in their place. So by introducing responsibility to them, it governs a sense of responsibility and ownership. So they know that that is my class, those are my teachers, these are my friends, this is where my shoes go, this is where my bag goes. So it's a wonderful learning opportunity for them, and also learning opportunity for us as teacher and TAs, because we are also learning new personalities every single day.
Wow. I'm about to enroll into your class as well.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah. I will after this, for sure. I'll take that into account. All right. So let's say that's already like a very big information and enough details for all the audience, and also for me as well. It's quite new to me, sound for preschool. So for now, I would like to conclude our time here for today. It's just that for one last thing. So for you, do you have any last thought on how we should know to prepare our preschoolers for the transition to the upper levels?
Like I said, it always goes back to trust. It always goes back to routine and stability. And because they're already in preschool, they may have older sisters and brothers in the school already. So they already, without us even knowing, they already learning what the next step is, what the next level is. But because at the end of the year, when they may be promoted to the next class, because they've developed such a love and fondness and stability within that class, their transition may be a little bit difficult, and you probably will find that the next class that they go to, there will be probably for a few weeks a bit of instability and insecurity within them until the next teacher fosters the same kind of environment that they came from. So, you know, it's not just a transition. Okay, well, you know, like if you're in high school, you know, you're in grade 6, you're going to go to grade 7, but you've already developed emotional maturity. They don't have any, you know, emotional maturity at the moment. So the transition, so between myself and the next step is very, very important. They already know that they are going to go.
Yep. So that means this transition, if you and the next teacher are very you have a very special communication to actually help them on that matter. So thank you so much for your time, Teacher Lee, for today.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah,
and I hope you learned something.
Yeah, of course. You have given us here, me and the audience, with a lot of insight on how preschool works. I'm pretty sure not so many people who are watching this right now have any idea what preschool is doing, because all we see are children crying and shouting everywhere. Okay, so as we hear from Teacher Lee over here, so preschool is a very crucial stage from across the program we have here in Go Global schools. And this level also helps young children to build their first real contacts with everything away from their parents at home. And they get to experience how things work, contact with nature, and learning through plays and friendships as their teacher has been introducing them to. So these young ones are developing at a different rates, but through our interaction with them, we can tell that their confidence are boosting from every day comparing to the previous day that they're coming here. So every day on and on, they will improve. So compared to the first time we met, there will be a very big improvement with the help of our teacher here. So I encouraged all parents to help these young ones create their positive development as soon as possible. So please bring them to school. But again, thank you so much for today, and thank you, Teacher Lee, again for coming here for today.
Thank you very much.
So until next time, goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.